Welcome to the channel. In this video, we are going to be taking a look at the basics of the maintenance aspect of the new update, which is currently in the beta test branch in Steam. Now, the reason I'm saying this is the basics is the fact that the one element of maintenance is that it doesn't happen quickly. It's not something like I can knock a couple of buildings together and show you the mechanic working straight away. There's quite a lot of lead time because it takes time for buildings to deteriorate, and also the same with vehicles. But there are a number of things that are worth talking about for anyone who wants to know how the maintenance mechanic works. And therefore, it will be very much me showing you the buildings, talking about some of the principles. And there's also a couple of things I want to test. And it's also worth mentioning this video will consist of two parts. First part, I'm going to talk about building maintenance, which shouldn't take too long. And then the second part, we'll talk about vehicle maintenance. Now, before I enable the maintenance option, I just want to show you a couple of things. We're just going to look at a construction office. Now, if you play the game, you'll be familiar with this outline. I want to draw your attention to this area here, the auto detector. You can see at the moment, it just comes down to electric wiring. And also, if we click on a truck here, you'll see at the moment what we've got is the odometer that's working, because no matter, irrespective of whether you've got maintenance enabled, the odometer runs straight away. So I've got absolutely no idea how that actually relates to vehicle maintenance. But you can see there's no information related to maintenance there. Then if we come to buildings, again, you can see this. If I show you the buildings, there's no indicator here at the moment of building maintenance. And then that also applies to industries. The reason I'm treating industries separately will become apparent in a little while. And the other thing I want to show you is in here. And what you'll see at the moment is this is a list of all the vehicles within 1,000 meters of us. And then if I click on here, this will gives a list of all the buildings that are within 1,000 meters of me. You can see it will changes as I move across the map. So this is a quick overview of the current state of some menus that you'll be seeing as we move forward. So the next thing I'm going to do is come up here. I'm going to come into there, and we are going to enable maintenance. It should be straightforward. I think the game doesn't need to reload with this. I'm just going to let the game run a little while and settle down. So what I'm going to do now is just repeat what I've just done. So we'll go back to the construction office, wherever it is. Where are you, construction office? I've gone the wrong way. I'm always getting lost on my own map. So if we go back to the construction office over here now, what you will find is that there's now two new tabs below the electric wiring. One says reconstruction, one says machine replacement. And what this means is that when you enable maintenance, you don't really need to build a specialist building to maintain buildings, because effectively the construction offices take on that role. And as you can see here, this is on auto detect. So what you've got here is it says if a building reaches less than 50% stability, is probably a quote right there, and the machines get less than 50%. I'll explain what the machines are in a little while. This construction office should automatically go out and do the repairs, assuming that it's got access to all resources. So this kind of implies, and I think I actually got a comment from someone saying about whether you need specialized customs office, and I think they're actually in testing. What the construction office will need to have access to is all the relevant vehicles to build a building and all the relevant resources as well, like you've got here. And of course, that also implies the fact that you're going to need, at the moment, this is 1,000 meters or 3,000 meters. You're also going to need to be able to cover the area where all those buildings are. So just to reiterate, what does this reconstructions and machine replacement actually mean? Well, if we go to a building over here, which is an ordinary domestic building, you come down here now, you'll see that below where it says the allocation, it says building maintenance, and it says wear and tear 0. And what will happen is over time, the buildings will slowly deteriorate. They will be shown both graphically and statistically inside. I think I don't know if there's actually let's have a look. Is there anything that will wear and tear? There we are. The game, yeah. So what you'll be able to do if you really want to keep an eye on things, you can actually turn this on. And I'm assuming eventually it will turn yellow and then turn red like it other things do. I think that might be important, especially if you're doing what I'm doing at the moment, is putting it into an existing save game. Because if you actually look at the wear and tear overlay, oh no, we got a few random values in here as well. That's good. Because one of my main concerns was whether these would all start in zero, which means that effectively a lot of these buildings could hit 50% when all at the same time, and then that of course would cause a major problem. Now, if we come up to here and look at the factory, what you will see here is that here it's got wear and tear 21%, wear and tear on machines 26%. So, in contrast to residential buildings, factories have two levels of repair. And Vimes was very kindly confirmed to me that those are two separate repair functionalities. They're not it's not all done at the same time. And what you see here, it says start reconstruction, start replace machines. And I think what you can do is force it. We're going to have a little bit of fun here. So that says open. And what I've done now is I've actually forced it into doing stuff. And you can see here that to do the construction here, we need steel, boards, and bricks. Now, if I find another factory, I mean, I can do this simply because I'm going to be throwing this away eventually. Now, if we come in here, for some reason, the distillery doesn't have anything else there. And you can see here, it's still producing food at the moment, but yeah, at the moment we're waiting for something to be delivered here. Okay, we'll just come back to that. What I want to show you is, I don't know if this isn't a factory. Maybe we'll find the steel mill or something like that, or process no, this has just got building maintenance. Not every building has machines, but I know the steel mill does. You can see the steel machine here is there. And if you click on this, what you'll find now is this now comes up. And of course, because I'm in realistic mode, you can't purchase. So if you're playing in normal mode with auto purchase, you can auto fix this. And if you come into here now, what you see is machines need electro components, steel, and mechanics. You can also see that when you click manually, the game goes out and detects all things. So what we're actually doing is do that. And I think because I've knocked out machines, it says machine replacement in progress. So when you've replaced the machines, you effectively shut down your production, which again is something else that Vimes mentioned when he was responding to a couple of questions I had. So, as he pointed out, that you've got to be aware of, especially if you've got a crucial industry. Let's see here. No, I think these guys are still coming this way. I'm still, well, come on, guys. You only need 6 tons of steel. You should be delivering them now. If you really want to find out, you can come to all related vehicles here. And just look in here. Yeah, this guy's just turning up with some bricks. So he's bringing bricks down here. We'll just follow him very quickly. Because I think once you get the first delivery, the building changes. I think. I've never done this before, guys, so we're in a... Let's just see if he delivers here. Bit of a traffic jam here. It's a bit of a bad road layout here. Yeah, it's something I'm going to need to look at, I think. Anyway, we'll just go in here. So it looks almost like when you do building maintenance, you can repair the building and it doesn't stop production. Interesting. I didn't know that. But I think but if you repair the machines, it stops producing. Right, that out of the way. What we're going to do now is move over to vehicle maintenance. Now, vehicle maintenance is a little bit more involved, and it does require specialized buildings. And again, if we hook up a vehicle here, what you'll see now is we've got at the top here it says wear and tear, which on this vehicle here is 7%. And what you've got here is a criteria which you can change. You can actually adjust this. that was there. And this here, this is allow for repair. I think what you can do then is if you've got a repair station, you can click this and send the vehicle to a repair station. Now, the other thing I want to look at, so we're just going to let that run for the moment. I know I haven't built any buildings yet. We'll come around to that in a little while. Next thing I want to show you is in here, because now what you will see, it says we've got an option here. It says show wear and tear. So what you can do now is get a breakdown of all the wear and tear on your vehicles. It'd be nice if we could sort this. Can we sort by wear and tear? There we are. So at the moment, our highest wear and tear is 25% here. So technically, these vehicles have got quite some way to go before they actually do it. You can also do the same with buildings. And you can see from here that if you load a save game, the game almost allocates wear and tear at random. So that is something that, again, that you need to look at. So that out of the way, what I'm going to do now is just talk about the different options for vehicle repair buildings. And I think these repair everything. And you see, we've got a vehicle repair station, small, medium, and large. Now, probably the best way to illustrate how the repair stations work, because they work in various modes, and I'll be completely upfront, guys. I'm not 100% certain, but well, I'm going to start with the helicopter platform here, because it's in a nice location, which will show what you need to do. And we'll put a medium repair station in. What you'll see is this repair station's got a little box around it with little brown capabilities here. And what you do, if you do this and drop that in there, now, we're gonna have to turn off realistic mode. Didn't think of that. Oops. I was about to connect it to the railway. Yeah, we're just going to turn off realistic mode. Bad preparation. Disable realistic mode. Yes, thank you, game. And that means we can auto build this. Going to build it very, very quickly. Actually, one thing I didn't check. I just want to check something, because I've just had a horrible thought. Yeah, they need water. Aha. So this is a repair shed here. And what you'll see is that there's no workers drinking, nothing to repair. So what this is actually doing, and it says here, allow repair to cancel when idle, allow repair and building vehicles online. So what a repair station does is, well, it effectively duplicates a construction factory, which means a repair station needs plastics, mechanical components, electro components, electronics, and fabric. Also, it needs steel and aluminium. But what I will say is that the aluminium only really relates to fixing aircraft. Now, whether that actually relates to helicopters is another matter. But because I've connected this to here, you can see what we've got here. What should happen is that if this repair station is actually manned by people, what should happen is any helicopter that lands here that needs repairing will be automatically be repaired by this repair station. But of course, helicopters, especially when they're sat around on the pad doing nothing for a long time, don't do much. So the repair station also has another mode, and I think this goes out, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but as far as I know is that if we can zoom out long way, see if we can get, as far as I know, if a vehicle or a placement, like say a distribution office, is in range, repair station will send out vehicles to carry out repairs. And well, as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I'm skating on very thin ice here at the moment, guys, because I haven't really been able to get this working. Now, one thing I am going to be interested in is what vehicles do we need to buy? We buy here to show all. So you can only buy covered holes. So it looks like very much like the covered holes just deliver materials. There's no buses. So I do wonder whether the workforce works on a remote basis. In fact, it says here that there's number of workers per vehicle max. Okay, let's see what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got to do it, guys. Oops, didn't really want it to snow. We put 100 on it. No, the max number is 30 by the look of it. And if any of you know the game, this is what seems to be working in a very similar way to fire stations, which relates to the number of vehicles. So this somewhat medium repair station can have 3 covered holes in it. So we could buy, just buy 1, 2, 3 like that. And then these covered holes will sit here and work as, and of course another functionality of the repair station is the fact that because it's got repair slots, vehicles can come in here and actually be repaired, as far as I know. And by that, I think it means that if you've got a vehicle on a line, say you've got a manually set up line that comes past here, a vehicle that is in need of repair will automatically take itself to this station. I don't know whether, see if we can, we need someone coming in this direction. Okay, if we can do it. No, see, these guys don't. Oh, let's see if we can. Searching for repair station. Don't force repair. So we can force a repair, but obviously we probably need this station equipped with workforce. That's something that I will be exploring in a later part. Now, the helicopters, let's just have a quick look at the helicopters and see. Yeah, so helicopters can be repaired. Now, obviously my helicopters aren't very busy at the moment because I think they've run out of jobs. What I want to do is come over to here. They've virtually all landed because they've run out completely out of jobs. But what I do want to do now is we're going to go down to here. Because what we got down here is ships. Now, ships is something that does confuse me a little bit. So this one's already up to 17%. I'm just curious. Let's have a look at the vehicle list. Go wear and tear. Right, we got a puffer at 23%. Now, I'm not exactly too sure how we can repair, but I want to see if I can try something. If I come in here, as you may guess, I'm kind of exploring a little bit. Now, as far as I know, the buildings that you can use is, I'm going to put, yeah, it's just that we can't get that in, so that's going to be, did that flash green? Right, I'm just going to build this. And what that does is covers that. But you can see here, it only covers this dock. What I want to do is see. Don't. Can we? Say if I send you to there. There's one thing we could happen is say you've got a ship dock like this. What you could do is pick a ship because there's no construction officers or anything for ships. What you could do is just force the ship that needs repair into here, and then eventually what it can do is be repaired. And then of course what you do then is come back here, and once it's docked, let me just wait for it to dock just to see. I mean, obviously the ship doesn't need repair. This is what I was said in the intro. So I think that's something that we can do. Oh, now of course the big problem is going to be is with planning vehicle maintenance and even building maintenance is getting that essential cover, because obviously I've got a habit when I build things as well. For an example is up here. I've got this town here. And I've got a small construction office. I think I had a small construction office. Let me just see. Come in here, building search. Go. No, there's no construction office in this area anymore within 1,000 meters. We go this way. Now there's a construction office over here. Aren't you finding the construction offices? Try again. Yeah, construction office there. As we move away, because this is a good way to detect how far. Yeah, so there's no. So this town here would be very vulnerable for building maintenance because the only construction office is there. So in some ways, this town would need its own construction office building maintenance. And of course, what we'd also need is vehicle maintenance. One thing I kind of half considered is we have lots of vehicles coming up this way. So, I mean, would there be any advantage in, say, doing something like this? If any of you guys know the answer to this, feel free to check it in the comments. Maybe not a big one. Wow, that's big. A medium one, even the medium one's pretty big. Can't do it that way, but could do something like that. In fact, that would work great because got no. I mean, that would be great because what you'd have here is a technical office. Fun that, which we could use for exporting waste, and we could put so what we got here is this pair bay could service both the vehicles coming in here, exporting, and this is a mechanic that I don't really understand. It says that vehicles that need servicing can break their routes and go to the repair bay. Now, I can understand that with trucks, but I'm not sure how trains and ships will do that, and aircraft. But that's something that will need to be tested. And I think it's also one area that could give potential problems. Probably the other thing I would say is that these construction offices are certainly going to need. That is just an idea, guys. And I think what we're going to do now, I don't want this video to be too long. So we're just going to scoot back up here. That's actually been repaired. There's wear and tear 0. Wow. That's while I was away talking. Let's just have a look at our steel factory. You can see here. This is what this is what I thought it would do, repairing the building. Now the steel factory's obviously got a few problems. We come in here. Yeah, it's waiting for machine components and workforce as well. And you can see while this is going, this is not running. So it's got 0 productivity at the moment. And this structure here. So repairing the factory or building doesn't stop it. But industries with machines will stop production. One thing I am interested in is wear and tear productivity. And below there you've got productivity as well, because I think as wear and tear develops, productivity drops. It's also worth noting that if you don't repair vehicles, I can't remember what the percentage is. In fact, I don't know what the percentage is. But vehicles, when they get really bad condition, will start breaking down on the road, blocking roads. And then I think the way the mechanic works is they break down for a period of time, and then eventually they kind of, you can imagine the driver does a botch fix and the vehicle runs again, but it can also break down again until such time as it's properly repaired. And I think if it's eventually gets too bad, the only option you can do is actually just scrap it. Now, I don't know whether scrapping is available at the moment because I don't know. Let me just look here. Because technically scrapping is it part of the thing? I think I'm just going to leave that, guys. Skirt around it. There's one thing I do want to look at is whether water has machines in it. It's just wear and tear. So it's only your big industries that actually have the what we call it, have machines. Of course, with respect to vehicle maintenance and all that, you've got all these helicopters. So I think, got a feeling that we may need to actually kind of send things out to be able to get things repaired. But I'm going to go just scoot back to here. So that truck I told to go out and find a repair bay has got lost somewhere. He's always given up. Anyway, guys, I think that is enough of a quick overview of the basics. Apologies if I confused you, because this is one of these subjects where on the surface it looks very simple, but once you dive into it, it's very complex. And I also want to finish with a note that one of the keys to keeping this working will be a massive logistics operation, because as I've already mentioned, these buildings will need everything that's required for vehicle construction. So for normal vehicles, it'd be plastics, mechanics, electro components, electronics, fabric, and steel. And of course, they won't need vast quantities of it. You can see that by the amount that's actually being stored here. But at the same time, it's going to be a massive nightmare trying to get all that spread across the map. And that also goes with keeping all your construction offices supplied as well. So that is going to be that's going to be a very intense exercise that's going to be needed to be done. And one final tip I will say is that if you have a save game, you want to switch this on, spend some time preparing it, especially getting your logistics center up and running. And of course, unlike the other elements of the new mechanics, construction offices you can build. So you can build these and set them up in preparation for turning on building maintenance. Anyway, this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.